Hello, everyone. I'm Barbara Ham-Lee. Close your eyes and just imagine. It's Saturday night and you've just arrived at a small, intimate place with hardwood floors and photos on the walls, music blaring out of the jukebox, folks dressed up or dressed down, the smell of fried chicken wafting in the air, folks dancing, smiling, for once without a care. Welcome to Gidden's Do Drop In. It's one of the few places African Americans could go on the Eastern Shore to have fun, eat well, and hang out. We're here on the Eastern Shore with a live studio audience, and when we come back, it's an Another View history lesson on the Do Drop In. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Discussing today's topics from an African American perspective, this is Another View.
Wow. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Another View. We are live here at the Barrier Island Center in Machapungo, Virginia on the Eastern Shore. And I'm telling you, I wish the radio audience out there, if you could see this live studio audience, they are just fantastic. Give yourselves a round of applause. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here today. So we've taken a road trip, and we're here at the beautiful, as I said, Barrier Island Center. And I'm sitting here with the live audience, and we're sharing memories today about Gidden's Do Drop In. The Do Drop In recently celebrated 50 years as one of the oldest continuously owned and operated Black businesses on the Eastern Shore. It's a true treasure where African Americans could come socialize, eat a good meal, and listen to great music. Here to tell us about the Do Drop In is Jane Cabarrus. Cabarrus, rather, the daughter of the founder of the Do Drop In, Lloyd Giddens. Hello, you call you Mama Jane, don't
Mama
they?
Jane,
Hello,
yes.
Mama Jane. How are you? Joan Wilson, whose family supplied the jukebox. Very important.
Yes, very important.
How are you,
Got them
Joan?
all feeling good.
Absolutely. And Black Elvis joins us, performer who has his own corner at the Do Drop In.
Just a whole lot of shaking going on.
Just
baby.
a whole lot of shaking going on. So thank you all so much for being here with us. And Mama Jane, I want to start with you because you're the youngest of 7 children, and this business has been in your family since your dad built this place in 1967.
Yes.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. How did you wind up being the one to continue it?
Well, I was that little outgoing girl that wanted to be under Daddy's wing. So I would go over with him, sit behind the bar where he told me to stay, and how to treat people. So I learned all those things from him. I learned how to shoot pool, and I learned how to treat people. Because one of his things was, I don't care who come in this door, he had greasy hands, dirty clothes, dressed up in a suit, you treat them all the same.
Absolutely. So
I was Daddy's little boot. I never understood why they called me that. Maybe because I was so skinny, I could fit into a boot.
So tell me about your father, and why was it important for him to build? I mean, he built this building himself.
Oh, yes.
And why was that important to him? What was it about the Do Drop In that he wanted to provide for the community?
Well, Daddy was a carpenter by trade with a 6th grade education. He always worked in the factories, and he had this idea that he wanted to be his own business owner. So his first attempt, he built a building, and during that time, it was in the 60s, he couldn't borrow $2,000 from the bank, so it deteriorated. Okay, Daddy didn't give up then. He made another attempt, and one of his white friends had a big old house. Daddy tore that building down, took the nails out very carefully, and he built his own building, the Do Drop In.
Wow, and it is still standing today.
And it's still standing.
And you're still using it today.
And we're still using it.
That is fantastic. Joan, I want to bring you in this conversation because your family provided the jukebox. Now, we had to have the jukebox because you had to have the music.
Had to have the music. Yeah, my dad was Herman Edmonds. He had a business of his own as well, but along plus that, Dad had the music. He had the jukeboxes and pinball machines and pool tables as well. And my father felt that, the Black people on the shore, they worked hard. They labored in the fields. They didn't have a lot to look up to, and or to do in their times off from their labors. So he felt like that he wanted to be able to supply the music or have his business, so that the black people will have some enjoyment, somewhere to go, and something to do, and good music to listen to. So Dad would order this billboard, and so therefore he was on top of his game and his music. And my father had jukeboxes from the Maryland line all the way to the bridge tunnel here on the Eastern Shore. And so at Gidden's Do Drop In, my father and Mr. Giddens, they would talk and sit back and talk about the business and the things that they wanted to see done on the shore, and the ways of making the business grow, and what new products that they could bring in to their business. And it was all about the people, meeting their needs and the things that they wanted to enjoy. If someone walked into Do Drop In and they wanted a certain particular type of music or a record, my father would make sure that that was on that jukebox before he got out of there. And if he didn't have it, baby, what did you say that name of that was and who that's by? Next time I come, you're gonna have it.
Now, was it all kinds of music? Was it just R&B? What was on there? Blues, everything?
R&B, gospel, blues, and there was some music that we would dance to that we didn't realize that we were dancing to gospel until much later on in the years to come. But so therefore, the black people were praising the Lord, and they didn't even know that they were praising the Lord. And I can remember on the jukebox there was "Merry Christmas" by the Temptations.
Oh yeah,
People loved it.
Yeah.
It stayed on there year round. Even in the month of August, people will dance to that. And it just had a certain serenity about it. And it just made the people feel good.
Wow. Mama Jane, tell me, what kind of memories do you have of the folks that would come in? What was their life like, and what did they do once they got to the Do Drop In? Because they could really let their hair down.
Oh,
at
yes.
that point.
You could listen to their problems, number one. You had to be a good listener. You had to have patience, because someone would come and take up all the time. So therefore, you had to be smooth enough to make that person feel welcome without letting the other person know that I'm moving on down the line. So my good feel of the Do Drop In, I have to tell this because on a weekend, I only got 9 hours of sleep. My sisters and I, we would go over to Do Drop In, close up at 2 o'clock, get in the bed at 3 o'clock, get up 6 o'clock, and get ready to go to the hospital where we worked. It was Northampton Accomack Hospital then. And we also did private duty. So we worked 3 jobs.
So you were working full time plus running the Do Drop, plus working at the Do Drop at that time. Wow,
Yes.
that was a lot.
Yes, it was a lot, but I learned a lot. That's why the Do Drop is still standing. Because if we had not been under our parents' wing, because my mama, she would work in the fields, she would come home, wash up, and she would peel potatoes. She would make hamburgers in and out, not the patties like you do now. She would pick them chitlins and expect us to help her, and we didn't know how to do it. So it was just this family thing. Nobody got paid, of course. That's why we had to have the jobs, and it was a real good flow. And my 98-year-old aunt that you talk about, she's the last of 14 children. We don't have any other aunts or uncles living. And she would be right there. And she was the one that we could say anything to. She would get out there and she would dance with us, and she would give us the rope. So she wasn't really our aunt. She was like our sister.
Like your sister, almost.
She was like our sister. So she kept the place alive. So.
And your mom cooked.
Oh yes, my mom cooked. She, when she wasn't in the field, she was doing domestic work like ironing and cleaning houses and things of that nature. She was a woman that didn't mind being nice and working I would take 3 jobs also because that's hard work now because I can't cook every time I go in, and I might be certified, but it's still not the same as
The way that she would cook.
as the way that she would cook. So
Absolutely.
therefore, I feel like we have grown and we learned a lot from that. And their pet beef was you get an education. Most of all our siblings now, I mean, not siblings, my nieces and nephews, they're all college graduates with good jobs. And I like to say my daughter's an organ donation manager that work over in the Norfolk area and throughout. So she taught me a lot too, because transplantation is very important, and we have a lot of people, especially African Americans, on dialysis. And so we found out that you can be on several lists and things like that. So I learned a lot from that experience.
And that's very, very important that African Americans either sign up through their driver's license or register in another way so that it can be organ donors and help out the rest of the community.
Oh yes, the Dewdrop Inn has been a workplace, has been for workshops. We have a lot of health workshops, and we have these lungs where, Daddy died of lung cancer, and that's why when it came out by Governor Northam, who introduced the bill, we didn't have a problem with no smoking because we had already stopped that years ago.
At the Dewdrop Inn?
At the Dewdrop Inn.
Oh.
We lost some customers. We had to sweep up a lot of the cigarette butts on the outside, but that didn't matter. And some people honored that. And you're going to have some people that break the rules a little bit, and you will have to ask them out. But that's one thing that helped us with the Dewdrop Inn. And when all of this came out, we didn't have a problem at all because we were already smoke-free.
So both of you had parents who were entrepreneurs.
Yes.
That was really important, Joan, to this community. I mean, and were there others in the community that kind of all banded together in terms of owning their own businesses?
Yes, right up the street from me, it was a man named James Sessoms. And we've always had poor housing, like no bathrooms or indoor toilets and running water and all this. And he had a dream also, because he started to do housings. And a lot of people, he fixed it so that they could get their house or rent their house and live better with indoor plumbing. Down where I live, it's so bad with the shacks and everything. My county supervisor, I have approached him that we needed to do something about the rundown houses and everything, and that we couldn't repair them. So Mr. Mary, he was the supervisor then, but then we redistricted. So he was not my supervisor, but he promised that he was going to come back. He came back. In front of us and down from us, we don't have any houses now that people living without indoor plumbing and toilets.
But on the Eastern Shore, there are still people who live without indoor plumbing.
Oh, yes. It's really bad, and it's really a lot of homelessness that people overlook. And when families are living together, 3-4 different families in the same household, to me, that's homelessness. Now, I came up, and I don't mind telling the world, that we had on bed, I was 4 sisters, 2 up the front, 2 up the top, and you don't know if you wet the bed, who wet the bed on. But it was a learning lesson. Every Christmas, we would have to put up wallpaper, and we had to put down a rug. That's what they made sure that we had a good Christmas. Now, going back to the business part, Mr. Herman, he noted that people go out on Monday nights and Wednesday nights. He created a business that if you want to find anybody or everybody, you would go down a little town called Eastville on Monday nights. And on Wednesday nights, you would find everybody over what they call Little Boston. And that's how we came together as a community. But I do want to say that the Dewdrop wasn't always black people, because Daddy had this thing about him, about people. Daddy had white people to come in, and our beer man, Billy Sturgis' daddy, would come and sit on the stool, and they would have a great conversation. And we had other little whites that lived down the road, and he would always come and say, "Give me a Coca-Cola," and and then we had Stewart sandwiches.
Stewart sandwiches. What is a Stewart sandwich?
A Stewart sandwich was a company that were pre-made sandwiches, and all you had to do is put them in this little machine and warm them like they do now.
Okay.
They just don't call it that.
They just don't call them Stewart sandwiches anymore.
No, they just they just don't call them that anymore.
Well, now I know that there was the jukebox and people danced to that music, but there was also live music. Was there not, Black Elvis? I understand you performed there.
Yes. What got me interested in playing there, I learned a while back before I even started playing that Arthur Big Boy Crudup played there, which wrote that song, "That's All Right Mama," which was Elvis Presley's first hit. And
as a matter of fact, before you go any further, I think we have that song, don't we? Can we play a little bit of it? This is All Right, That's All Right Mama.
That's right.
For you, that's all right, no mama, any way you do, but that's all right, that's all right, that's all right now, mama, any way.
And that was Arthur Big Boy Crudup singing that song.
He played there also.
And he played there.
Oh,
yes. In also. Okay, go ahead.
So I didn't know who he was during the time, and I become friends with his sons back in the day. Of course, we was dating two cousins at the time.
Uh-oh.
And his sons was J.C., and I got become good friends with him. And I used to see his dad around every now and then. I didn't understand who he was until later on. And I wasn't doing the Black Elvis thing then. So I said, man, I like what them guys doing. His sons were playing music. And I said, I like to play some music. And then I thought about it, and then I got into a gospel group, and then they broke up, and I said, what am I going to do now? And I was dating this girl that I didn't know she loved Elvis Presley music. And I used to, everybody got a little bit of Elvis Presley.
That's why you became Black Elvis?
That's why I became Black Elvis. Yes.
You know what? The power of a woman. What can I tell you?
Yes. And if you don't mind me saying, her name was Janice Langley during the time. And she said, sing that song, Love Me Tender. And I'm like, man, okay. And she said, I think you should imitate Elvis Presley. And I took a second look at her. I said, a black man doing Elvis Presley, nobody's going to buy that. And the more I thought about it, and I seen that, and I realized that a lot of people tune into Elvis Presley, which they may not told you during the time. But I found out everybody knew something about Elvis Presley. So as I thought about it, I said, okay, well, I'm not with the gospel group now. And the more I thought about it, I said, I should give it a shot. What I got to lose? Rest of it is history.
The rest of it's history. Yeah. That's fantastic. Good for you. And as a matter of fact, we are blessed because Black Elvis brought his guitar with him. Can we hear a little something?
Yes, ma'am.
A little something?
And I would like to say this. When I found out that Arthur Big Boy Crudup had played at the Dewdrop Inn, and I became friends with Jane Cabarrus, I said, how do I get a piece of that? This guy played here. So and I talked to her. I said, look, how about putting a Black Elvis corner there? You know, I was just in that movie Honeymoon in Vegas. She looked, okay, go ahead. You want to put it there?
And that's how you got your corner.
That's how I got the corner.
Go ahead, perform. Right. Give us a little song.
off my shoulder. Said a thank you to say to me. Great this world may go away. Do you remember when you used to love me? Just before the world took you away. I'm sorry if I hurt you. Just let me make it up to you day by day. Make the world go away. Get it all, get it all, get it off my shoulder. Said a thank you to say to me. Hey, this world may go away. Ho! Oh, my boy! Thank you.
I tell you, as you're playing, I'm looking out at the audience and people's eyes are closed and they're just swaying. I'm like, woo, this song means something to some folk up in here. And we do have a live studio audience. If you're just joining us, we're here live at the Barrier Island Center on the Eastern Shore, and we're sharing memories about Gidden's Dewdrop Inn, one of the oldest continuously owned and operated black businesses on the Eastern Shore, and a true treasure to this part of Virginia. My guests include owner Jane Cabarrus and Joan Wilson, whose family supplied the jukebox, and performer Black Elvis. I'm Barbara Ham Lee. You're listening to Another View. I know we have a live audience. I know you guys have a lot of questions. So if you do have a question, raise your hand, and Lisa and Richard will bring the mic over to you. In the meantime, what do you use the the Dewdrop Inn for today?
The Dewdrop Inn, I would call it a community center, a political arena where we have all the politicians. Our governor has been there several times to speak, of course not as the governor now. Our very own Dr. L.D. Britt from Eastern Virginia Medical School has been there. And matter of fact, he is our coordinator and our everything for the Eastern Shore health-wise, because all I have to do is put in a phone call and say, Dr. Britt, blah, 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 and he's been there for us. And also the men, we've had National Black Leadership Initiative on cancer, like this month is Prostate Cancer Month. Mm-hmm. We've had Georgia Regional University.
So like, you're the unofficial mayor of the whole Eastern Shore. Is that what's happening here?
Well, since you said that.
You go, Mama Jane. Tell me.
Since you said that, with all the power invested in me for God, and we don't have a mayor of Weirwood, and we have all of these people from all walks of life here on the Eastern Shore, I therefore want to declare this weekend as the Dewdrop Inn Giddens Weekend, the legendary Dewdrop Inn that belonged to all of this community. So let it be dissolved that all of us agree with this. So now we got a proclamation and a resolution.
I tell you. Joan, tell me some more memories you have of being in the Dewdrop Inn. Did you date? If you were dating, is that a place where your date would take you?
Oh, yes. The one thing about the black community and back in the day, and you're a teenager and you came to Dewdrop Inn, or you were coming out, you belonged to the family there. So you were looked after by the family. You get to the door and you think you're going to sneak outside. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Because they're going to ask you why, and I know who your mama is, and I can call up your daddy. so therefore, you were looked after and you were protected. And Mr. Giddens or Herman Edmonds and my father, I've seen them walk out in a crowd many a time, and I'm a kid and I'm feeling afraid for them to stop anything before it really, got out of order. Mm-hmm. And at that time, all it took was that, just to talk to them or point the finger or to threaten that I'm not going to let you come in here anymore, because there were no disturbances. There were none at all. And helping with the community, I can remember my father helping would open Sunday afternoon, sometimes like after church, and kids can come down and then get an ice cream cone. The local baseball team would come down and play ball. So therefore, all the parents and everybody in the neighborhood, even the preacher, would come out and enjoy themselves in the afternoon to have enjoy the baseball game. Mm-hmm. On Halloween night, they open up. The kids in the neighborhood come down. All the free candy and ice cream and things like that.
Everything was happening at the drop-in.
And you were safe.
Yeah.
You were safe.
Was the inn involved in terms of civil rights? What did you guys do in terms of, or were you involved in terms of like meetings, civil rights meetings or marches or gatherings?
I'm a child of integration.
Okay.
I went to Central, I guess the second year of integration. Mm-hmm. And so, therefore my father and Jane's father, your family people, they would talk to you about it, but they left the decision up to you. As
to whether or not you wanted to go?
Yes, yes. It was called freedom of choice at that time. Okay. It was freedom of choice. And they were proud that you decided to go. They were very proud of you and backed you all the time. And it wasn't about getting left missing the school bus, because they'd make sure that you got there, because they were going to take you and make sure that you got there. And they would always tell you that your books are your best friend, mm-hmm. and how important that the education was. Yes, they had made it, but they wanted you to do even better. Mm-hmm. And so that's what it was all about, mm-hmm. and just a better life for the human mm-hmm. being.
And from my point of view, instead of being angry, because I've been head of the NAACP, and I'm still on that board for down through the years when NAACP membership was 50 cents for young people. Wow. Instead of being mad around 18 about what was going on at the ending of the Jim Crow laws and all of that, I decided that my dad, who put his pants on the same way other men do, that I was going to do something about it. And I've been dedicated to that all my life, ever since then, to make the world a better place. So the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People of color, that's what I call it, because that's what it turned into be. And I found that diversity is our best key, because we all got to live in this world together. So I'm not angry about slavery. I want to look back, and I want things to be better, because we all, at some point, no matter what color you are, have been in enslavement. Because enslavement of the mind is the worst kind of enslavement. It's not all the shackles all the time, but it's your mentality of the way you think.
Absolutely, absolutely. How many of you...
I think it made us stronger. It made us stronger.
You think it made us
stronger?
How many of you in the audience actually attended the Do Drop In or went to and danced and so forth? And what kind of memories might you have? Do we have someone right behind you, Lisa? I believe. Is there anyone who attended or has a memory about the Do Drop In?
I'm more researcher.
We're getting the mic over to the person right now. Okay.
Thank you. I'm Spencer Murray. I'm the supervisor that Jane talked about.
Thank you, Mr. Murray, for being here.
She's more than the mayor of Weirwood, by the way. She's a leader in Northampton County, and the Dewdrop is a wonderful, wonderful place. It's a place for music. Yes, I won't revise history. Its origins came from diversity, but today we still have diversity, but we celebrate it. We don't fight it. And we go there to be together as a people. And I've had some wonderful time. Deborah and I, we don't dance as much as we used to, but we used to shake a pretty good leg at one time. And we loved Black Elvis being there. We've always listened to Black Elvis when he was there. And we want to keep the Dewdrop Inn. Symbols are important. And the Dewdrop Inn, I live right near it. I travel by it 3 or 4 times a day. The Dewdrop Inn is a symbol. It's an icon of who we are today. Not what we've been in the past, but what we are today and what we can be in the future. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You know, Mama Jane, you were telling me that your dad built that place. Now, you added an addition, or an addition was added to the building. And I think I remember reading that the part your dad built was stronger than the new addition.
and that's because that house that he tore down, that wood is something different about it. That is really, really good lumber. And so the back part, you can see the nails coming through where the dance floor is. And I know a lot of people say, why don't they fix this? Why don't they do that? But it got a certain feel of the heart from the heart. When you walk on that dance floor, you can even dance with shoes off. On there is really
that's smooth.
It's really smooth, and we outgrew the first part because we had the Crudup brothers, and they could sing anything. Tyrone Davis, everybody that came through.
You know, we were talking about Arthur Big Boy Crudup, and I read an article this morning about his history, and he wrote these fabulous blues songs and died penniless. And I would love for you, we have a member of the audience, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. But
Billy Sturgis.
That's Billy Sturgis. Hi. Billy, stand up. And if you would just share that story very quickly with us about the article that you showed me, and share
That was a book published by Dick Waterman, who was Arthur B. Crudup's manager many years ago. He's a photographer, and he was able to document a lot of Arthur's travels and his story from Chicago, etc. And it's a touching story about his fight with the record companies and his publishing rights, etc. And unfortunately, he never lived to see the benefits of his work, and he was so frustrated. And in his life, he stopped writing, which is a
real sad.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, the world didn't hear what Arthur really wanted to do musically for his entire life. So anyway, but the family did recover some royalties, etc., and that's fortunately going on today. And I'm also was involved with the Crudup Brothers CD. I have a small label here on the shore, and we produced, rehearsed, gave birth to that record at the Dewdrop Inn.
Absolutely, because his sons played, and you all did the music at the Dewdrop Inn. Is that right?
Yes, I was kind of got around the community. I wanted to know more about Arthur B. Crudup, and Jonas Crudup kind of looked me up one day and came by my office and said, I see you got a little label and whatnot. So we talked about music and this, and so I said, gosh, I'd like to be a part of this project. And so fortunately, I was able to bring some pretty heavy hitter musicians to town, and we stayed in the local hotel and lived in the Dewdrop Inn and wrote, ate, sang, drank, did what you do best to put a great recording together. And
did you feel the ancestors?
Oh, yes. I mean, Jonas knew where to go. I knew where to go. And Jane let us in. So it was like a wonderful experience, and I'm proud of that recording.
Fantastic.
We were nominated for the W.C. Handy Award in 2000 for the Best New Artist. Unfortunately, we didn't win it, but we were
but that's okay.
in
You were
Memphis,
nominated.
and,
there you go. Absolutely.
Jonas Crudup was able to renew a friendship with B.B. King because they'd worked together with Arthur on stage in different parts of the country, and it's a
lot of
rich
good
heritage
stuff going on here on the Eastern Shore.
It is a feeling, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
For sure.
Wow.
And
when you hear that, go ahead.
Yes, and if you go to Franktown, just a little ways down from us, you will find Arthur Big Boy Crudup's grave, and also one of his son's grave. It has a headstone there, but it doesn't have anything symbolizing, of where he stood out. Because when he was coming there, it was only $3. I used to be at the door with him, $3 to hear all that good music. He would open up, and then his sons would take all over. And as Elvis stated, all of the young girls would just fall to their feet. So we didn't even have to advertise that we were having the Crudup Brothers.
That was just a big deal. Absolutely. I want to ask you another question. So when you play at the Dewdrop Inn, what does that feel like for you? Because you know that all that rich history is in that building.
It was a good feeling because, like I said, I didn't know who Arthur Big Boy Critter was during the time I was hanging out at the house, and I didn't see him that often. But when I found that out, I'm like, okay, this is where it all started at, And I did hear. I went to Memphis and I got some insight on that. Elvis did hang out with Arthur Big Boy Critter into the studio. What was the name of that studio there, Billy Sturgis, in Memphis?
Where Elvis first recorded?
Yeah.
Of course, it was Sun Studio.
Yeah, Sun Studio. So,
right.
And like I said, Elvis did a lot of songs, and I did my research on that. But that one song that got him rolling, that was "That's All Right, Mama." So with me standing there and doing that was a good feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Just realized that Arthur Big Boy Critter was playing that to Dewdrop Inn.
You got another song for us?
Oh yes, ma'am.
We're listening to Black Elvis.
Where's the band, Billy? I can't stop loving you.
Uh-oh, Mama Jane's got it, y'all.
I love you. I can't stop loving you. No matter what you say to me, baby. Can't stop. No, baby, can't stop. Can't stop loving you. At you with a smile, now you got a frown. What happened to the love, girl, that I thought we found? You treat me like a totally stranger, man without a friend. Unblock your mind, baby, let me in. Said you didn't love me anymore, we should go on our separate ways. I can't stop loving you. My love is true. I can't stop loving you. No matter what you say to me, baby. Can't stop. No, baby, can't stop. Can't stop loving you. Oh! Thank you very much.
Now, Mama Jane, I got to ask you a question. Because you jumped in there with that "I can't stop loving you." That sounds like there's some memories or something up in there.
That is dedicated to my parents. That is a special song for them. I can't stop loving you. So every time you all come through those doors and the hinges that swing open, we know that you're going to get a great big hug, and you're going to really feel something, because it was a lot of love there. Through all of the struggles, we still can say we're still standing.
That is fantastic. So who takes the Dewdrop Inn from you? I mean, who is it being passed down to? You keeping it in the family? You're going to keep it running?
Well, let's just say, I'm not going to say my age, but my sister and I, we were talking about that. What are we going to do that we're getting older? So we are trying to educate the young people of the history, not of that it was once. See, in the black community, every black establishment was considered a juke joint. And people didn't understand that the juke joint was the only place that our blacks had to go at that time, may it be at a house party or either a legal business, because we've always had our licenses. And so what we're trying to do is, maybe if it's not my siblings or family, to educate the young people on, you should know your history, know where you come from, so that you can pass it on. So this is about passing on history, no matter whether it's in the family, out the family, or as long as it's history of what it stood for.
Now, all of your sisters and brothers are still here.
No.
No?
No, I have a brother in South Carolina
Okay.
who groomed Bill Clinton's horse. He used to be, well, the horse was named Bill Clinton. He was a horse trainer.
Okay.
And I lost a brother to prostate and lung cancer. That was the first sibling. But all my other siblings are right here.
As you told me earlier, we're how did you say that? We're here on the Eastern Shore. We're homebodies. I think that's what you said.
Yes, we're homebodies. But the good part about the Dewdrop Inn, we have met other family people that we can hug. And my college students, I'll be remiss if I didn't talk about the 20-some years plus of the Boston college students that come and live in the Dewdrop for a week on their spring break when we had the houses to do a lot in the community. Matter of fact, I still heard from them. And that's how I got the name Mama Jane, because I would tell them, call home, let your parents know you're all right. You're coming into a neighborhood, and we gotta face it. It's an African American, black neighborhood. And
As a matter of fact, Lisa Godley put together a story about with one of your students. Can we take a listen to that? I believe that's the one. Is that the history? No? Okay. We'll take a question from the audience then.
Hi, I'm Brenda Exum from Norfolk, Portsmouth, Virginia. And it's so nice to be here and to see your 98-year-old aunt who looks like your sister.
Yes, she is gorgeous.
So
Absolutely.
it is. She's beautiful, and you are too. And I'm just thinking, it's so nice to have a living historian here, wondering what you're doing to preserve the legacy on paper. I'm particularly interested in learning more about your mama's recipes and what's one of your favorite memories as it relates to what people really liked eating back in the day at the Dewdrop Inn.
But let me tell her this one thing, Mama Jane. So Mama Jane asked me, she said, you don't know nothing about chitlins, do you? And what did I tell you?
You still eat chitlins. You love chitlins. Her potato salad, I think, because all the peeling, all the working, and that you had to put into that. The potato salad and the fried chicken, she could not fry it fast enough to serve the people, and they would always come back for her fried chicken. And but I think her favorite was the fixing that potato salad, because I can't do it myself.
Are you writing down a lot of this history? Are you chronicling it in some kind of way, or putting it on paper, or has any historian come to you to say, "Hey, let's sit down so I can get your story on paper"?
We've been profiling in the ANN booklet and the Delmarva Times newspaper and things that we put out. But however, we would like to have a historic marker, and that's what all of you can come together to help me do. I'm still working hard, and I know that marker is going to cost something. So when I put it out there, I'm making my little plug now. When I put it out there that we are coming together to put a historical marker at that site, I will be calling all of you all, and that's how you preserve history, is trying to pass it along. And when you walk through those doors, you are part of the history. That's the important thing, that you took the time even to be here today.
Okay, Richard, you have a question there?
Well, yes, I'm one of those folks that I took off from work today to be over here, my wife and I.
Thank you so much.
It's great
Wow.
to be
We have several people in the audience who took off
I'm originally
today.
from up county, Accomack County, so I came to the Dewdrop in a roundabout way, but I remember your dad's place in Little Boston, Herman.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
went there a lot.
Bless you.
So I met this gentleman years ago in 1974. His name's Burley Strand. And it was 2 years before I even realized he was a musician. I worked part-time at a lumber mill, and he was the head sawyer there. And he was just a blue-collar guy, and then I find out I went to the country club, which is up in Accomack County, for party one night, and his All-Stars were playing. Well, they named themselves the Black and White All-Stars because a good friend of mine, David Laster, was playing in the band that night. And I went up to him, I said, Burley, you never told me you were a musician. You were in a band. He was phenomenal, one of the best bands that ever came off the shore.
Yes. Yes.
So years later, I got the opportunity to actually sit in with him. I'm a bass player. And I asked him, he showed up at the Dewdrop one night, and I just happened to have played with another band that night. And so I saw Burley, and I asked him, Burley, do you mind if I sit in with you on a couple of numbers? And he kind of looks around, and he goes, well, you got your bass? And I said, yes, sir. And he goes, you got an amp? And I said, yeah, in fact, your bass player is welcome to use it. He goes, we're going to need it. How about sitting in the whole set? I don't have a bass player. And all I could think was, don't say no, don't say no, don't say no. So I not only got to sit in with Burley, but later on, Black Elvis came up and did his set. So I got to play 2 sets at the Dewdrop. And I still haven't come down from that night.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. Okay.
Hi, my name is Gigi Huck, and my grandmother is from the Press family and the Foxes, and I just met one of the special guests here who knows some of those members. And my mother used to call someone's house that was always open and welcome to company the Dewdrop Inn. And I thought it was just something she was saying, and I didn't know until I heard about this event that it was actually a place. And now that I've heard the history of it, I see how it became an expression. So I thought that was kind of neat.
And actually, you came from Menchville High School.
Yes,
she
I
took
did.
The
I
day
took
off
the day off.
too.
Even after the 4 days out from the hurricane, I was like, should I, shouldn't I? I'm like, this is not happening again, so bye. I'm glad I did.
Thank you very much. Yes, we have another audience question or comment.
Yes, we have one.
I just wanted to say that Jane has an amazing way of getting accountability from all politicians, and we've appreciated that over the years, and we've awaited a lot of election returns, pro and con, at the Dewdrop Inn.
I tell you, your spot is the spot.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful place. Any other questions from the audience? How many of you have never heard of the Dewdrop Inn before and now have a new appreciation for it? Yeah, we have some hands back there. So people are learning about living history again. So Jane, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you have a question? Hold on.
What were the hours of the Dewdrop Inn, and was there an age limit to who could come?
The hours used to be 7 days a week, and especially after church, because that's when there was a family thing that you could bring your children in, and you could socialize with the adult people while the children learn all the dances and everything. And we are very strict about underage drinking, and we hadn't had to put up with that because it was like a community, like I know your mama knew me, and all of this, and
Yes.
so we didn't really put on an age limit because we didn't have to.
But on Friday and Saturday nights, it's usually more adults and teenagers.
Yes. Well, it's the old school kind of flow. And you know, the kids now, they don't like, we got 11 songs on the jukebox by Roy C. and those old blues people and stuff. It's not their kind of music now.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to worry about them too much.
So now the old school was those we come have some fun, right?
Now we're the old school, but we're the young school because we know all the moves.
Oh, I know. So were there any romances? Can you talk about, did anybody like meet at the Dewdrop Inn and get married or, anything like that?
If I tell the truth, I will be the Fifth Amendment or whatever. Well, I met my husband at the Dewdrop Inn.
Oh.
But he's my ex-husband. Look, I was married for about 23 years, but that's why I met him at the Dewdrop Inn. We were introduced there, and our first date was at our church.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the way Daddy. And I remember one night his car wouldn't start. Daddy wouldn't let me take him home. Daddy took him home. So it was a romance kind of thing.
So we've got about 2 minutes left. I can't believe how fast this hour has gone by. So I want to ask each of you, Stan, I'm going to start with you, Black Elvis. If you had one thing to say about the Dewdrop Inn to encourage people to come by, what would you say?
Well, a lot of good music and a lot of good eating there, boy. I tell you, especially that fried chicken.
All right.
Well, you know, they don't cut. Back in the day, they would put the whole thing together. What would you call that, Jane? The quarter and the
leg and the
leg and the thigh.
Yeah, that's how they used to make that sandwich. That's a real sandwich, man.
Absolutely. So that is Black Elvis, and we're going to be talking about where you're going to be performing again in just a few minutes. And now, Miss Joan, what would you say?
I would say that it's a lot of love, and when you have the love and the feeling of family, that is something that lasts and goes a long way.
That is Joan Wilson. Her family supplied the jukebox to make sure that the music flowed at the Dewdrop Inn. And Mama Jane.
And Mama Jane said that you get lots of hugs, and it is family oriented. And as Daddy would say, you can't touch music, but music can touch you, and it will do something for you. If you go in the store to buy something, why do you think the music is playing? Because it makes you spend more.
That is Jane Cabarrus. She is one of the youngest daughter of Lloyd Gidden and the Giddens Dewdrop Inn. That is such a fabulous hour. I have so enjoyed talking to each of you all. Thank you for your performances, Black Elvis. That was wonderful. Your music is fantastic. So hey, next time you're headed down Highway 13 on the Eastern Shore, take a left at Weirwood and stop by the Dewdrop Inn and say hello and see living history in action. And if you'd like to hear this show again or share it with a friend, please visit our website, anotherviewradio.org, and download the podcast. And I just also want to mention something to you that the Hampton Roads native Carl Parker Jr., who won the Golden Gloves title in 2012 for the Virginia, North Carolina region, will step into the ring tomorrow in Norfolk for his professional boxing debut. And our Lisa Godley recently sat down with this talented athlete, and we'll bring you his story in the next couple of weeks on Another View. And hey, CJ, we're rooting for you. We hope that things will go well for you. Guess what? There is a concert tomorrow night at the Dewdrop Inn, and I hope that you all will come by and check out. Black Elvis will be playing at 6 p.m. along with Billy Mercury, and doors open at 5 o'clock, and then at 7 p.m., McKay Shockley, who is a ukulele player, Snow Hill All-Stars will be playing, and Black Elvis said you're going to sing a song or two with them, I believe, and also the Chris English Band. So come on down to the Dewdrop Inn and enjoy the music. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I understand you're cooking. Is that right, Mama Jane?
My sister is.
Your sister's cooking. Okay. Next week on Another View, it's Another View on Health with Dr. Keith Newby. Our theme music was composed and performed by Jay Sennett. Lisa Godley is our show producer. I want to say a very special thank you to Todd Washburn, our audio engineer, along with Ray Lentz and Victor Bowen, who took care of the technical needs to make this broadcast happen. And a special thanks to the folks at the Barrier Island Center for hosting us. Come on out tomorrow night for the concert. Doors open at 5 o'clock, and we sure hope to see you there. And thank you, listening audience. Thank you, live audience, for being here today. We appreciate you. We're coming to you live from the Eastern Shore. Thank you so very, very much for listening to Another View.